Bible Tune Studio presents.
Did you know that the most important war in human history was fought without a single soldier? What if I told you that the fate of every soul hung in the balance, not on a golden throne, but on a scorched patch of limestone? What if I told you that the King of Kings was led into the mouth of the wolf, not to be devoured, but to prove that the word is stronger than the hunger? The Jordan River was still damp on his skin. The voice of the Father had just torn through the heavens like thunder, declaring, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." It was a moment of supreme affirmation. But the celebration was short-lived. The Spirit did not lead him to a palace or a parade. It drove him into the throat of the Judean wilderness. This is the story of the ultimate confrontation. This is the story of the second Adam facing the serpent who stole the first garden. This is the wilderness test. This is the story of Jesus versus Satan, the ultimate battle in the desert. The Judean wilderness is not a place of rolling dunes and soft sands. It is a jagged, violent landscape of white heat, crumbling limestone, and howling winds. It is a land of scorpions and silence, a place the ancients called Jeshimon, the devastation. For 40 days, Jesus walked deeper into this desolation. The sun burned by day, turning the rocks into ovens. The frost bit by night, turning the sand into ice. In this place, there are no distractions. There is only the self, the Father, and the encroaching shadow. He ate nothing. The human body is a miracle, but it is also a cage of desperate needs. To understand this battle, we must understand the physical toll. By day 10, the stomach stops growling and begins to scream. By day 20, the body begins to consume its own fat reserves. By day 30, the muscles begin to waste away. By day 40, the mind enters a state of agonizing, razor-sharp clarity, even as the body reaches the brink of collapse. Every nerve in Jesus' body was a raw wire of pain. He was famished, a word in the Greek text that implies a hunger so deep it borders on the lethal. He was at the absolute limit of human endurance. And that is when the shadow moved. The appearance of the accuser. The serpent did not come as a monster with horns or a creature of fire. The serpent is subtle. He is a master of timing. He waited until the second Adam was at his weakest, until the lips were cracked and the ribs were visible through the skin. He came as a voice of reason. He came when the light was fading, stepping out of the shimmering heat waves. Satan, the fallen morning star, looked at the man who had spoken the stars into existence, now shivering in the dirt of a dead land.
If you are the Son of God, why are you suffering like this?
The devil leaned in, his voice dripping with mock sympathy.
Your father just called you his beloved at the river, didn't he? But look at where he left you. A father does not let his beloved son starve in the dust. A king does not sleep in the dirt.
The devil pointed to the ground. The rocks of the Judean desert are unique. They are round, brown, and weathered, shaped exactly like the small loaves of barley bread sold in the markets of Jerusalem. To a man who has not eaten for 40 days, they didn't look like stones. They looked like life.
Command these stones to become bread. Just one word. You have the power, it's in your blood. Satisfy the hunger that is killing you. Why wait for a father? Who has forgotten you in the heat? If you are the creator, why act like a victim?
The air was heavy. The phantom scent of baking bread seemed to fill the dry, dusty air. This was the temptation of the flesh to use God's power for self-service. It was the whisper that says, "Your needs are more important than your obedience." But Jesus did not look at the stones. He did not let his eyes rest on the bread. He looked through the enemy, staring into the dark heart of the temptation. His voice, though raspy and thin from thirst, held the weight of eternity. It was the first time the king spoke in the wilderness.
It is written, "Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God."
The blow landed. Jesus did not argue with the devil. He quoted the law. He used the very word that Satan tried to circumvent as his shield. He wasn't just refusing food. He was declaring that the soul's dependence on God is more vital than the body's dependence on calories. He chose to starve in the will of God, rather than feast in the will of the devil. The scene shifted. In a blur of spiritual power, the accuser transported Jesus from the lonely desert to the highest point of the world's most sacred building, the pinnacle of the temple in Jerusalem. They stood on a dizzying ledge, looking down hundreds of feet into the Kidron Valley. Below them, the religious elites, the Pharisees, and the pilgrims moved like ants. The marble of the temple gleamed white and gold in the sun. Satan changed his tactic. If Jesus would use the word, then Satan would use the word too. He would weaponize the Bible.
So, you live by the word? You trust the Father's promises? Then let us test them.
The devil stepped to the very edge, gesturing to the abyss below.
It is written in your own Psalms, "He will give his angels charge over you, and in their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone."
The devil smiled, a cold, predatory grin.
If you are the Son, jump. Let the world see the miracle. Don't wait for the years of ministry, the rejection, or the slow path. End the doubt now. Let the angels catch you in midair before the eyes of the priests. Why go the way of the cross when you can go the way of the spectacle?
This was the temptation of pride. It was a trap designed to force God's hand. To jump was to demand a miracle, to put God on trial, and to turn faith into a stunt. It was the temptation to be a superstar Messiah instead of a savior. Jesus stood on the edge, the wind whipping his hair, the height pulling at his balance. He didn't debate the theology of the psalm. He simply corrected the lie with a higher truth.
It is also written, "You shall not put the Lord your God to the test."
The temple stood firm. The angels stayed in the unseen realm. Jesus refused to turn his relationship with the Father into a magic show. He would not test the Father's love. He would trust it. Satan's composure began to crack. The "if you are the Son of God" taunts were failing. The hunger hadn't broken him. The height hadn't broken him. The king was proving to be unshakable. But the enemy had one more card to play, the ultimate bribe, the biggest lie. As the sun began to set on the first half of this cosmic duel, the air grew unnaturally cold. The shadows of the desert began to stretch and twist, forming the shapes of cities, armies, and thrones. The greatest test was yet to come, a test of the throne. What would you give to avoid the cross? The battle has just begun. Watch Part 2 to witness the final confrontation between Jesus and Satan and see how this epic story concludes. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe as we continue to shine God's light on the world.